Welcome to SynologyOnline.com. My name's Ray, and in the video we did before this, titled on the thumbnail, "It's Not a Delta," um, and the problem with aftermarket power supplies that are being sold under the Delta name, or even non-Delta names. So today is the day we're going to be actually going over the 916 Plus and why there's such a big problem with lightning, surge, people pulling the plug out on the NAS, or if they don't pull the plug out, just the UPS dies and the NAS turns off. There's a problem with this. Actually, if you have a NAS and there's no drives in it, you can pull the plug out all you want. That's never a problem. The problem is when there's drives in it. There's a thing that goes on in electronics, if you know how coils work and capacitors, and when power is removed to them and they collapse, their voltage is down. Coils work a little different. When coils collapse, the voltage increases. It goes to infinity, in fact. And this is called, in engineering terms, an inductive kick. And you can look up what inductive kicks are. Now, this kick that comes back can be in kilovolts. And that's something that really affects the motherboard in your NAS and can sometimes destroy it. Power supplies, especially third-party ones, are well known for doing this. They don't filter out power that much. So if you get a NAS that has one of these power supplies, you're going to have a lot of problems. In fact, this 916 Plus that came in a week ago, the customer's on vacation for a couple of months, so it's just going to sit here for a little bit. So he told me that, they had a power outage and, there was a storm. And I'll tell you right now, lightning hit, surge, power outage, especially lightning and surge ones, I usually generally refuse to fix them because the catastrophic damage on the board. I mean, chips just get wiped out totally, some blown apart. I've seen some where the top of the chip is missing. I've seen some where they have a sticker and the top blows off and folds over. That's all that surge that comes in, either from an inductive kick on the board or actually from the power line, especially if you have these low quality power supplies. It happens even with the good ones, so there's no exceptions to the rule with what goes on with these. It's more prone in the third party ones, so let's take a look. We got a 916 that came in, so now you're going to get a chance to see one that actually is going to get fixed, surprisingly. And I didn't know it was a surge one until after I started fixing it and he told me, and I was like, that's kind of strange. What am I going to do with this? So a good telltale sign is this is an Altera chip, and it's got a sticker on it. Synology put version 1 software on it. Now, Altera chips are a funny animal. It's an I/O. It's a programmable I/O, and it's programmed by Synology. But we can't change them because you cannot program an Altera to work on a Synology because Synology is not going to give anyone the program. There's too many security risks involved with it. So there is an alternative, though. If you have a known board that has maybe blown LAN ports, or if you see one online that doesn't have the drives don't work, but the NAS still boots, you can borrow an Altera from a broken one that at least hopefully you know that the Altera is not bad, and transplant that into the one with the burn chip. This one you can see the brown spot on top of the sticker. This obviously has damage. Actually, in Reddit, if you see my Reddit page, I call this curse of the black spot. And you probably have heard that term before, curse of the black spot, in the past in movies. So obviously we can see that here with this sticker. Here's actually a LAN chip that had this. By the way, LAN ports are not protected. it's a direct connect to whatever's in the chain. There's no protection. Synology doesn't put protection on it. Most companies don't. They don't feel it's necessary because of other devices connected to it that may be protected. It's too expensive to put that in a board. Surprisingly, all the companies started thinking this way years ago. So by everyone thinking that, LAN has no protection. Your router has no LAN protection. Your switches have no LAN protection. Surely not your NAS has protection. So here's a LAN chip out of in an 18, I believe this is an 1815. And you could even see the hole burn in it. It's catastrophic. This is just one chip, and it probably had many chips on the board that were destroyed. So now, as we move along here for a second, the next frame you're going to see is I'm getting ready to start the 916, but I'm also going to be showing you a couple of others. Here's another LAN chip. Obviously, a chunk of it fell away. Not good. Again, LAN's not protected. And you can obviously see there's something here. This is not an Altera chip. This is just a LAN chip. It does happen to the Alteras. Here's a 412. And we can see a brown spot on the sticker. And this is an Altera chip. And obviously, yeah, there's something going on. By the way, this doesn't always show up. You don't always see a brown spot on it because sometimes it's internal. And we've been able to actually perform x-rays on Altera chips and see this in action. So we know it's blown because we've seen it in the x-rays. And you're going to see SMD x-rays coming up to show this. It's bizarre. Neat machine, though. I wish I had one, but I can't afford it. And here it is. This is an Altera chip. It had a burn spot on it, and we were suspecting that was it. So we ran it under an x-ray, and sure enough, you can see internally the destruction. There should be no black spots in this x-ray image of an Altera. So all this is just from surge, lightning, stuff in your house that probably isn't even affected. But LAN devices generally do get affected. If you're connected with a cable in the LAN, you'll actually have something like this happen. So anyways, again, this is the 916 Plus we're working on, and I'm going to be repairing this. Going to be using a donor chip, by the way. So anyways, as we move along here, is that the, yeah, that's the x-ray picture. I think my video I have set up for this. I had a customer actually do this, so it was nice of him to have to do this for me, and I appreciated it. So there we go, the 916. I was able to get the chip off, and I took it off. These are not easy to take off. This is not usually something a customer can do because you need a BGA machine to do it. There is an alternative way if you're really handy with a Dremel tool, but I can tell you, and I use the Dremel tool a lot on some chips because underneath this chip is, you can unsolder all the legs. If you see my mouse here, the only thing is you can't unsolder that thermal pad that's under the chip. This thermal pad is used to dissipate heat off of the chip because this thing can get pretty hot. So it not only acts as a ground, one of the ground terminals, it also acts as a heat dissipator to allow heat to dissipate. You can do this with a Dremel tool. Basically, you want to grind the center out, and you want to move your way out towards the legs. And once you can finally get down to where the legs are exposed, you can take solder and just click up each leg, and it just comes right off. You'll be taking hundreds of legs off because they're just going to come off. The other thing about these is that solder is made of tin. There's other alloys that are in it. The reason these become so complicated to take off is because there's copper involved here. There's copper cladding. There's tin. Solder melts at a certain temperature. All right. But when heat from surge or lightning affects this chip, it gets so hot that copper and tin sometimes mix. It becomes another alloy. This is no longer copper on one side, tin on the other, and solder comes undone. Sometimes these don't come off easy because the melting point of solder is way higher than the melting point of tin and lead. Uh, by the way, I only use lead solders. It's just something I've been doing for decades, and I find it the best solder to use. Motherboards mostly use lead, especially for balling when you do VGAs. Yeah, they're most of like CPUs and GPUs are all lead based, so it's a better binder. It holds stronger than the more modern tin ones. I don't use tin in general except for a few things, but lead is primarily the solder choice of mine, and I'm normal. Yeah, I'm not that kooky. Yeah. Anyways, so here we are. Here's my donor chip I took from another board, and I'm going to be transplanting this Altair in here. I happened to get one that just had bad drive ports in it because the SATA ports were bad, and the customer didn't really want it, so I told them I just use it as parts, and they don't mind. A lot of these people trade in one anyways and say, "Here, give me one that you've got, and I'll trade them up one that I have in stock or something like that." So this is my donor. This chip is going to come over. By the way, when this is all done, you're going to see what lightning and surge does to a NAS. So I had put the chip on. Putting these on is pretty easy. Generally, you can lay the chip down and just put blobs of solder everywhere and wipe your iron across it with plenty of flux. I only use Kingbo flux. I don't use Amtech and stuff like that because I don't like the browning problems that those have. I just use Kingbo, and this one has a leaded solder because I like the way it flows better with the flux. So all you have to do is put blobs of this and just start wiping the legs, and you will see it actually collects a small amount towards the end because all the legs are full, and you can wick these away, and I'll actually be showing you that too coming up. So I always clean things. I use a spray contact cleaner from Menards. It's the best flux cleaner I've ever found. It's better than alcohol 100 times over, and you can see it makes it look brand new. So I check for shorts. I go through every leg. You don't want one leg shorted. Here's one where the pin is kind of moved over to one side. And that's just a matter of heating it up and pushing it over with a needle. So now when you inspect these pins, you have to make sure every single one has no solder that's crossed over. And actually in this video, I actually had found a couple. You might not even see them here, but when you put them under a microscope or you get in there close, you start seeing between the legs in the back. Some of them can be shorted, actually. So I ended up having to go back to this a couple of times just to make sure. Use a magnifying glass, something that you can see at least 20. I use up to 50 times to look up close, sometimes even a 90. I have loops that I use. I use a electronic microscope. Nothing special. You don't need anything really special to fix these things. At home stuff you got is all you need. Now, I ran a test after putting it on, and you can see my screen. It doesn't show anything, but watch what comes up on the screen here, actually. Look at that. Now, who can read that? That's on the serial port. This is usually when I test a board and I'm going to send it back to the customer. I'll send boot logs. This particular one is spitting out garbage on the serial port. Now, remember I told you that some NASAs get a lot of damage in them? When I saw this, I started saying, man, is this a surge or a lightning board? Because I don't remember the customer telling me that. So other chips get destroyed. Obviously the wart was destroyed because it's spewing out nothing but garbage characters, stuff that you can't read. That shouldn't look like that. And you can see I'm hooked here in the serial port up in the top right. I've got a drive in the NAS. This is just the basic testing after the chip has been installed. So you want to make sure a disk shows present, fans are running. This also is before the cleaning because the NAS gets completely cleaned out too. So, and I'm testing it now. I believe in this video, I'm moving towards the back, and here we are. Let me see if I can get a better shot. There we go. Now, remember I said when things get bad with catastrophic lightning damage or surge? Here's a good example. This unit's fixed, and you can see I'm connected to a LAN port, and I was able to actually register it and put this drive online and load in the DSM. But did you notice the other LAN port has a green light? Yeah, there's some of that damage. Now I know where the surge came in that destroyed the Altera. It came in that LAN port. That LAN port is fried. So you can say I'm not done with this NAS, but I'm done with it. And you want to know why? I didn't know it was a surge hit unit. And the other thing is, when you get surge hit units, I mentioned this earlier, so much gets destroyed inside the NAS. You can fix the LAN chip, and sometimes you fixed it, sometimes you didn't, because it's a constant hunt for you fix the LAN chip, it doesn't show anymore, it's not lit up because nothing's plugged into it, and then you find out it's still not working in that LAN port because another chip has been affected by the surge. And so it's a cascade. I've gone through so many surge boards even 10 years ago that, oh, I could fix them, I thought. And then when I had fixed the solution at the spot, to find out it's still not working because another chip is fried, another chip is fried. You're just going down the line, replacing parts after parts, and it's a waste of time. That's why we don't really service those. If it was a newer board, probably from 2021 till today, I might do that because they're pretty expensive. So, but you can obviously see in this one, one of the LAN ports is lit up and there's nothing even plugged into it. Why? It's shorted. It was destroyed in probably lightning surge in this particular case. So, kind of, it's. I think it shows as LAN 2 actually. LAN 1 is working. It's even flickering because I was able to go online and get this going. Customer is really happy because the server's like 175 to do this, but can you imagine if you just got to buy a new NAS? So, yeah, actually, this is 175 if he just sent the motherboard in, and I charge 200 if he sends the entire NAS in, because when you send the entire one, I have to clean it out, I gotta check everything. So, what can you do to protect yourself? It's devices like these. Okay, these devices isolate LAN. They're LAN isolators. Okay, they prevent the LAN from making physical contact with the NAS, but yet still pass data through them. So they're expensive. They're not cheap. It's worth it though. But you're looking at like $120, $150 for one of these little boxes. This company's not the only one that actually sells them. Triplite also has them. They're pretty good. In fact, I have one on mine because, believe me, I don't want to have a blown NAS because of just because of lightning. And there's nothing I can do about it. So, anyways, where is my Triplite one? Here it is. This is the Triplite series. They sell one. This is like $130 last time I checked. They work good. At least you're not going to have to worry about lightning causing any big problem with your NAS. And actually, there are actually UPSs that have these built in. So if you buy your next UPS, I suggest you get one that has LAN isolation. It's a benefit. It's an option on UPSs. I wish they all came with them standard, but they don't. It's just one of those things. So pick one. Your next one, if it's going to be a NAS or a server you connect to it, make sure you pick one that has LAN isolation on it. So And I believe at the end of this video, I didn't bring it up so soon, but yeah, I think that's it. So, anyways, thank you. And I wanted to point out and show you what we usually do when we have a surge unit come in and that we have to fix. I say we. Actually, my partner in Germany handles, all of the European sides. I handle all the Americas and Pacific Rim region. He pretty much does the rest of the planet. So I just have my area and he has his area. We talk all the time, we work together, we develop new fixes as we go along. So, anyways, thank you for stopping by and see you around on the flip side on the next video that comes out. I'm not sure what I got planned, but I'm sure you'll like it.